Right, yeah. This is a request from Lindsay, um, Katie Lang. So I did say I want to do some more Katie Lang interviews as well, but because someone said, "Have you seen her singing with George Michael?" I thought she sung with George Michael's, and I thought I found it, but I didn't. It was just them standing on stage together, and basically the end of the show, they were on stage with Bowie and other people, but I couldn't actually find a video of them singing together. But then it might just be because Canadian stuff is actually hard to get here. I had it with Blue Rodeo. Blue Rodeo you just cannot get here. You have to find them and like where the song's being used in the background of a different video, so you can get it from that. But anyway, it might just be a case of that, or I just kind of misread and it was more that they performed together, as in they each did a set. Um, but anyway, yeah, Katie Lang reflects on her and Cindy Crawford. Cindy Crawford, that's not. Hold on. Oh yeah, another thing. Katie Lang's still alive. I don't know why I thought she's dead. I think just because everybody seems that I get into is typically dead. I got into Chris Cornell, Mark Lanigan. Um, I suppose Nick Cave's still alive. But who else? But they all literally died like a year before I really got into them, or like not long before. Gord Downey, another one. Neil Peart of Rush. But yeah, that's what I mean. And but Katie Lang's still alive. I was like, oh shit. Who are we looking up? Cindy Crawford. She's a supermodel. Who's the singer then? Cindy something. Anyway, yeah, Katie Lang interview. Let's go.
If you identify as queer, then no one else can tell you that you don't. I
Right.
mean, if you own it,
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's become like this more umbrella term
Yeah.
that we can use.
Yeah.
That rolls off the tongue a little easier
Yeah,
than all the
I
letters.
like queer.
I like queer too.
Yeah.
We have this album here.
Yes.
It's actually our producers that she had from home. Big fan. 37 years since this album came out.
Really? Yeah, that's a long time.
How does that feel?
It's exciting. I'm happy. You know what? I've lived 37 years since that record, and I've enjoyed every moment mostly. And yeah, I'm going to embrace the fact that time marches on.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it continues to do so.
Yeah.
And I think it's really interesting to see like the milestones that come up and celebrate, I'm sure, like the different anniversaries of your albums and things.
Yeah.
And also the achievements that you've been getting since then, including the Canadian Country Music Hall of Fame.
Well,
yeah.
that is a shocker, and that one is really very, very exhilarating for me. I'm stoked about it.
Yeah, how did you
Yeah.
find out? How did it all?
I got a call from my manager saying they want to honor you at the Canadian Country Music Awards, and I was like, wow. Because, you know, it has been 37 years, or 35 years, I guess, and I'm really, really excited about it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm so glad. Does it ever get less exciting when you get a Lifetime Achievement Award here or this honor here?
Yeah, they come with different gravity, but this one, because I was born in Edmonton, my career started in Edmonton. You know, I still have family in Edmonton. It means a lot to me. I have so many wonderful memories of those early days playing the Sidetrack Cafe and walking down the streets of Edmonton, being a rebel without a cause. So yeah.
That's so sweet. My favorite Edmonton memories are always Folk Fest.
Yeah.
It's the best.
Edmonton Folk Festival is one of the best.
Oh, it's so good. And people who haven't experienced it, you like can't describe it. You just have
No.
to go and
Yeah.
go and do it.
It is. It's one of the very best there is.
Yeah, and I hear there might be some sort of reunion that's happening at
Well, as a matter of fact, ladies and gentlemen, yes, I got together with, we're getting get together with some of the original members of the Reclines, Ben Mink, Gordy Matthews, Johnny Diamond, and I am going to perform on the CCMA Awards. And I was able to go to the National Music Center in Calgary, where all my old outfits are housed, and I picked something very specific.
Oh, wow.
So it is Retro City.
Yay.
And we're going to do a song from the early,
I wonder
early
if
days.
it's the
and
Shannon Lane thing.
We're all really, really excited about it. It feels like a really celebratory reunion.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. How long has it been?
Since I played with the Reclines,
Yeah.
I guess the last would have been 1989, somewhere like that.
That's
Yeah.
incredible.
Yeah.
Oh, I can't wait for that. That'll
Yeah.
be so sweet. You've touched on being born in Edmonton, living in Alberta. Canadian artists take such pride in being Canadians, as I love so much. So what is it about growing up in Alberta that really plays into who you are as a person, who you are as an artist?
Well, that's a big question, and I could probably talk volumes on it, but I mean, specifically with country, you know, growing up in the prairies and knowing the people and knowing the lifestyle, it's very directly related to country music. But I think also as a vocalist, it informed me in terms of the minimal landscape and the openness and the space. I think I lean towards aesthetically and musically towards minimalism and openness. So I think it's had a you know, indelible mark on my taste.
For sure. That's what I noticed too in Alberta, is just how big the sky is.
Yeah.
Right? It's different here.
It's very, very big.
And then the second that you go over there, anyways, we could reminisce about Alberta the whole time. As a queer person myself, the Vanity Fair cover, it was such a like queer cultural moment for so many people. Did you expect it to have that kind of, I don't know, attention even after all these years, with it still being brought up and people still referencing it?
It was a really big moment because I was really close friends with Herb Ritz, who was the photographer, and I had known socially, I had known Cindy Crawford for a while, but to know that it was for the cover of Vanity Fair, to be being shot by Herb and to have Cindy Crawford draped over top of me, those were all pretty big moments. And I think when you're in the moment of creativity and when you're actually engaged in the moment of creativity, you don't, I mean, you have a sense of that it's going to have an impact. But
Crazy, isn't it? Look. It's crazy. I don't know if you'll be actually able to see, but you probably all know the picture. I just looked up the picture to see what they're actually talking about. But it's crazy because it's the same as like, that's so like nothing today. Right. It's literally like a kind of Elvis shaking his hips where they wouldn't film his hips because it was too sexual. And now you look like where music and music videos is now. I mean, that's nothing. And you look at that and you think that's crazy that that caused a. Or maybe that's why as well the world is getting more extreme in every kind of aspect, because you can't put a picture up like that no more and shock the world. No one's That's not going to make headline news. But it shows you that in the time that it was done, it kind of broke the world. But it's so really what's the word? Not unassuming, unoffensive, it's just, yeah, it's just kind of actually pretty regular. I mean, compared to some of the things that go on today.
I think the only way I could ever understand its impact is through time and through retrospection. And I am so utterly, profoundly proud of that moment. It's playful, it's artistic, it's ballsy, and it's beautiful. It's aesthetically beautiful. So I'm really, really proud of that, and I'm glad that it had a positive impact on the queer community and
Still does.
social norms in general.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. It is so fascinating to hear you talk about coming out then, and you just have this like confidence about you too that's very admirable, because I think for a lot of queer people there still is that fear of coming out or just like being judged or anything like that. So for you to, what was that, 92, to be coming out?
I came out to my mom in 1976.
But like publicly, yeah. But that's just, it's just so huge. And I know that you've talked in interviews at that time about the fear of that, like, because obviously it does come with some fear, but yeah, like the fear of coming out and the repercussions that could come with that. Did you ever end up facing any negative feedback, or did you lose out on opportunities at that time because of it?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
You know, the funny thing about my career is I've had very limited commercial success. I've had a lot of television exposure. I've had a lot of press. But in terms of actual record sales or radio play, I've had very limited success.
Why is that? Is that just people don't know what genre to?
There's that.
Yeah.
I'm hard to market, but also I challenge advertisers. I challenge, you know, I scare people. I've scared people with my political stance on meat eating or you know, vegetarianism. So yeah, you know, you're when you're challenging, you know, I've definitely experienced phobias, definitely.
Yeah, for sure. Do you still feel like that now, or you think people have finally caught up?
You know, it still exists, and we have a lot of work to do, but things have changed so positively, and I take a great source of pride in that as well.
Yeah, no, and I think just by you being you, I'm sure you've heard it before, that it's just, yeah, it's very admirable. So
thank you.
I love it. That's so great. Do you like being referred to as an icon for the LGBTQ plus community?
Well, if it's for the LGBTQ plus community, I'd prefer to be considered a dicon.
Of course. I love that. You should coin that yourself.
No,
or like,
somebody in Toronto coined that. I can't remember who, but it wasn't me. I can't take credit.
Get it copyrighted or something. That should be your official title that you have. Do you think that using your fame to be a platform to voice issues and concerns, how do you feel strongly about that?
I think that really boils down to individual basis.
Okay.
I think if it's something that you feel authentically passionate about and you feel like you want to speak up on an issue, then absolutely, don't even question it. But I think if you think it's a way to garner media or get attention, or you think you're virtual signaling because it's popular, then please do not do it.
Yeah. What do you think about the word queer? Because I know for a lot of younger members of the LGBTQ plus community, they've like reclaimed it because it had such negative connotations to it.
Right.
How do you feel about it?
I like it.
Yeah.
I mean, if you identify as queer, then no one else can tell you that you don't.
Right.
I mean, if you own it.
Yeah, I think it's become like this more umbrella term that we can use.
Yeah.
That rolls off the tongue a little easier than all the letters.
I like queer.
I like queer too. Yeah, it's great. We lost a really great voice last year, Tony Bennett.
Yeah.
I'm such a fan of his and yours together. What memories come up for you when you look back on that time with him?
He was my teacher. He was a friend. He was a gentleman. He was the epitome of a professional in the music business. His etiquette, his work ethic, his grace, his generosity to me. I can see that he gave Gaga the same generosity, and many, many other people. He loved Amy Winehouse. Mm-hmm. His generosity was, unparalleled. But Tony was just a really amazing person inside and out, such an amazing singer. I feel extremely fortunate that I had an education with him.
Yeah, when you say generous, what do you mean by that? Just with his knowledge?
Giving you space to be a vocalist, including you, letting you be yourself. Like he let Amy and Gaga and me be myself around him. He wasn't threatened by it. He didn't try to mold you. He gave you, you know, opportunities to sing with one of the great singers of traditional pop. Just incredible.
Yeah, for sure. With the fact that you have dabbled in different genres and you've been creative in so many spaces, how would you describe who you are now? Like, who's Katie Lang now?
I get smaller and more diffused as I get older, and that sounds demeaning, but I actually think it's empowering. I feel less ownership on who I am and more ownership on the fact that we're the interconnectedness of us and the inseparability of us all. And I guess that's what I focus on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that. A simple life.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. Thanks.
Thank
I love
you.
it so much.
Thank you.
Thanks for chatting.
Yeah, pleasure.
Awesome.
Like the video? Then hit the button, or better yet, drop us a comment. Then check out our latest videos here. And don't forget to...
It is kind of crazy that she didn't have... Because I remember the Roy Orbison video. And in the when we did that, and I got it off YouTube, in the description to that video, it said this is what kind of put her in the mainstream, was when she sung with Roy Orbison. And I thought, that's crazy. Like, it's crazy that... But, like, what they said about her is kind of true. She's very sure of herself. Like, you get that just instantly from her. Like I say, like, when I first started listening to her, I was comparing her to Freddie Mercury, but more vocally, because Freddie's got the range, but he's got the gravel. She's got the range and the gravel, but that Freddie's gravel comes from rock and roll, and obviously hers is from the country folk side of things. But they both have incredible range of voices. But then watching her more on stage, I'm watching Elvis on, because people said they always thought Elvis, and yeah, I see this. I see it. The more I watch both of them live, it's they're so confident in what they're doing. You just get that instantly from them. Like, it just seeps out of them that they're like, she's basically what's it? Sigourney Weaver in Alien. Where, like, if she's just got that confidence about her that you just kind of believe, you believe her. Do you know what I mean? It's, yeah, she's definitely is that. But it's crazy how, like, groundbreaking things were back in the day that are so, like, nothing now. Like I say, with Elvis shaking his hips, do you know what I mean? The Doors saying we can't get much higher. The Beatles saying we'd love to turn you on. And then you fast forward to where we are now. Where, like, what's that song? There's a there's a rapper, and her lyrics is like, I think it's like, my pussy's pink, my booty hole's brown. It's like, that's a long way from not filming Elvis shaking his hips, or this picture. Like, I think that's crazy. But then it just shows you that there's, like, because my dad always says, I think it's James Dean. He said James Dean, like, was the first person to wear a undershirt, and that's it. And that's kind of what started the craze of not having a jacket, and like, and that was such a groundbreaking thing. And you think that's like nothing, but it's them things that these people did, which then kind of gives people more freedom now. But yeah, yeah. It's crazy that it's only now that she's... But then that happens quite a lot. Like, you see quite a few of them where you think, that's amazing that they've not been inducted. Like the Doors, go back to the Doors being inducted in by Eddie Vedder, who was already in. And you think, how did the Doors get in? I mean, I love Eddie Vedder and Pearl Jam do belong there, but how did they get there before the Doors is crazy. But yeah, hopefully I don't have to block this out. Hopefully. But yeah, that's the reaction. Sweet.